I think sort of we leave it to Gerry in coordination with other people to get out notice about action Monday week. But you know, and Roger, I think you passed around a bit of paper.
Yes,
signed up.
I'm sorry.
If anybody didn't put their name on a bit of paper to be contacted, then please do so. So Ian has to shoot off, so we'll ask him to come back first.
Yeah, well, a lot of what I wanted to say has been said. I mean, for me, the trouble throughout the Sparks dispute, even though we was organising outside the union, you know, independently from the union all the time, we at the same time organised inside the union and fought for what we want. Because I've got the big problem I've got with, there was a big argument went on at the Sparks dispute at the time about, you know, United never going to do anything. You know, a lot of people have got whole grudges that go back for many, many times when we scapegoating and all sorts of things like that went on. But the biggest problem I've got, if you try and form a different sort of breakaway union, is that you pull the best militants away from the more passive members. And for me, it's about how you organise as a rank and file to draw these less militant members around the hardcore militant people there that want to fight and pull them with them. And that's what we sort of tried to do and did to some success within the Sparks dispute. And then the last thing I'm going to finish off, obviously, direct action is a fantastic thing. You know, the big thing in United at the moment is what they call the leverage campaign, where basically you'll pick a target, you'll pick the clients, and you'll hit them hard. But it's no substitute for industrial action. Nothing is ever going to ever be a substitute for industrial action. And what actually beat our employers back during the 35% pay cuts we faced was actually the likes of Mouth in Scotland. It's a big oil refinery. Now they said that if they was going out on strike, they had the ballot. We've got the ballot, and they voted for a week of industrial action, followed by a week of work to war, and then followed by a week of industrial action, and rolling across like that. The people that owned the refinery, they had a meeting at the refinery, and the shop steward for the actual refinery workers turned up, and he said that if there was an official picket line outside that refinery, these members would not cross that picket line. It takes 3 days to shut the refinery down, and then it's going to lose a week's of production, and it takes them 2 days to get it back up to full speed. It would have cost Balfour Beatty £100 million a day if they shut that refinery. Within 3 days, Scotland and the North would have run out of petrol. So when we went to the High Court against our injunction, we won the injunction, and within an hour, Balfour Beatty had phoned up United and backed down. And that's where it's in direct action, you know, pulling the stunts that we pulled, occupying offices, occupying building sites, being a general pain in the arse is fantastic. It gets people mobilised, it pulls people around you, but what we need is proper industrial action.
Yeah.
Before we wind up, Oscar?
No, sorry.
Okay, Gerry?
All right. I think this is a very inspiring meeting, actually, and I think it certainly encourages me to begin the task of organising. As I say, my spirits were enormously raised by the huge vote that Gerry Hicks got, and the inspiration of that is that there are a lot of people who are willing to fight back, and then if you give them a candidate and if you give them a leader that puts forward a clear rank and file fighting program, then they will respond. And I think in this instance, I think Ian is absolutely right. The London rank and file bus workers in the 30s did exactly that. They fought both within the union and outside the union. They were able to call industrial action if the bureaucracy refused to call them into action, and they picketed and they fought inside the union. They won their places on the union executive. They won 13 places on the TNG executive. They stood for all the positions. So that neither were they lackeys of the bureaucracy. Nor were they breakaways, but they were Ernest Bevan called them an internal breakaway. That's what he called them. And I do think that's the way to do it. By the way, what they did achieve was that the very repressive T&G rulebook was a whole section that was specifically formed to prevent that ever happening again. that was the effect, and I think maybe that nightmare still lives in the minds of people that run Unite, that the London bus workers would pull themselves together and would organise across London and show their industrial might, and I think it will happen.
Gerry, if you get promoted tomorrow, we're fucked, aren't we?
Sure, that doesn't.
I think it's right. I think it is a matter of combining the direct action with the industrial action, but also with the political as well. And so I think the direct action enables people to, as Ian said, to be a pain in the arse. But actually, the direct action also enables those who are not part of that particular union to work in solidarity as well with that work. But it doesn't. There's no substitute for organisation on the ground. But what we've got to give people confidence in terms of joining the union, being active in the union, and also being militant within the union, take the appropriate action. I think from small sparks to be frank, pardon the pun. But I just get that impression there's a tinderbox out there on a whole series of issues, you know, and it's quite remarkable. It's bizarre. There's all sorts of protests going on. Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, I was on the same bloody platform as Boris Johnson against the third runway. And it was down in Barnes, and you look around, there wasn't a black face in the whole of 500 people that were there. Never seen anything like it. All, you know, it wasn't a matter of clapping; it was rattling their jewellery. It was unbelievable. But I upset them by saying, actually, it's a fantastic demonstration. But in my constituency, against the third runway, we had climate camp. And what a fantastic sight in Barnes this would be. They all started looking worried. But then, you know, that happened, and then people kicked. We moved on to we had the Ealing demonstration on Saturday with Acton and all those 204. Thousands of people marching in independently down to the Ealing Common against the closing accident emergency. To the point that Gerry's making. But I think people are up for this because I think people have had enough. And they just need that spark and a bit of inspiration and knowing how to engage. And I think if we set up a bus workers campaign, I think people will engage. And it wouldn't take much, you're right, it wouldn't take much to have a dramatic effect in terms of one particular garage that I think will then catch fire and spread to others. So I think there's real potential there. The reason I say direct action linked with industrial action, it has to be linked with political discussion as well. Because it isn't just about one individual or one dispute or one industry or whatever. Every meeting we call, every demonstration we have, every picket line we're on, I think we've got to make sure the political argument goes across as well. You know, this is about austerity, this is about anti-trade unionism, this is about trying to break the trade union movement, as everyone said. Really. I think we've got to make sure that message has got across, because apart from bus workers, I think it'll inspire others as well. And then you're right, it is the political struggle within the representative groups bodies that we've got. And I think it will spark, pardon the pun, it will spark, I think, a struggle within the Unite. I think there will be challenges on McCluskey about abiding by the words he's made in that USEC, because he's actually attacked austerity light in that. And he's come out in favour of fairly radical action. We'll put him on the spot. And I think it will cause a struggle within the Labour Party. We're both the officers of the LRC. We can take it back to the Labour Representation Committee next National Council to support the campaign and try and mobilise our members in support of it as well, and try and drive that into the Labour Party. So I think it'll challenge everyone. I'm up for it. I'll try and get here for 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'll try and pull out of a meeting. But if after tomorrow you haven't been promoted, if after tomorrow we decide on a day, well, ideally I think something like Monday week or whatever, I think go for it. Choose the garage and we'll go for it. I think it'll work, definitely. I'm up for it.
One last thing, I mean, it brings it all back to earth. As Secretary of the Trades Council, I'm going to make an appeal. It's cost the Trades Council 50 quid tonight. If you can, I know we're all hard up in austerity, but if you can make a contribution towards the cost of the hall, it will be appreciated. Okay, and that means we can actually then have enough money to actually cover initiatives like this.
Clarence, pass the cat round.
If someone can stand by the door. I was very grateful.
Thank you.
Right. Right.